And we are finally here, guys. What's up? It's me, Two, and we're finally at set 4 and the final set of Jakks Pacifc Pokemon Plushies of Black and White. And I am super stoked. It's been a very fun journey from December showing off the first one, to showing off the second, to the one that I actually got, where I got the whole plush set completed with tags, which is amazing. And the recent third one, and now we're here with the finale, and I'm super excited. I'm hoping maybe next week as well to have the whole set of the video just kind of out. That would be amazing. I don't know for sure. We'll kind of get to that whenever we get to that. But I'm not going to keep on talking for too long. We're going to get right into the set. We're going to be starting off with a few plushies that we've already talked about, strangely enough. It's a very unique set, but there's a few weird ones they for some reason decided to do. So with a very unique plush set like this, you get a few weird ones, and I'm gonna start off with one we already talked about, and that strangely enough is Woobat. Now I understand what they've been doing with Deerling and doing all the seasons, which strangely enough they didn't do in the first set, which makes us miss one of the Deerling seasons, which doesn't make sense at all considering they're doing all three of them, but they didn't want to do the fourth one, and it's such a weird ramble, but it's also very confusing as to why they did that. I don't understand that at all. But with Woobat, they just released Woobat again. They're just doing Woobat again. It's so weird. It's a very awkward position that I'm in where it's like, do I review him again? Or do I just say, go watch the other video? Which I'm kind of leaning towards. But I will do a quick little assumption and say, yeah, let's do a quick little representation and description of him. Woobat is just a big ball. He has some felt bat wings, and the fur is honestly very adorable. Unless you get it all dirty and it gets all matted, which in that state is it's not good at all. However, you keep yours clean. I do think it's one of the best Woobat plushies out there. Definitely a good representation of Woobat, the perfect representation in my opinion. And then once again, we're back here with Deerling. And I do like this Deerling color. The orange is honestly my favorite of the bunch, I think. However, once again, man, they just really had to redo the plushie. It's what makes these sets really hard to give an A plus listing to, because they just keep on copying and copying the same sets, and it's getting kind of annoying at this point. They have such unique Pokemon after this. However, they start doing this, and I'm kind of like, man, I'm just over it when they do this for the third time, another Deerling. Maybe if they did it again for the first set, it would have been okay because we would have gotten all four. But now we're here with an incomplete Deerling set, and it's just pretty good Deerling plush. However, if you want to do a full set, I do represent getting the Sitting Cuties. I think that'd probably be the best way for your buck. If you get Sitting Cuties, you actually get all four forms, which I think is a winner in that case. Next up, we're here with the meat and potatoes of everything. We're actually getting new plushies, and I'm going to start off with Panpour. Now, Panpour, strangely enough, was after two sets from the original Pan stage they did in set 2. So we're now in set 4. That's 2 sets, at least how I'm doing it. And they didn't do a 5th set. If they did, they'd have to put Pansear, I feel like. However, with I'm just going to say canceled / undeveloped 5th set, they never gave Pansear the actual treatment of getting a 3rd plush, which would have been pretty cool. Pansear just does not get a lot of love, so it's kind of sad seeing him not get a lot of love. I do need to use one in a future playthrough, but that's off topic. I do think the coloration of the Pan stage, like I said with most blues that come in Pokemon, very beautiful. I do think it works great. Panpour is one of my favorites out of the bunch. He honestly probably is my favorite out of the bunch, and I think it works perfectly for him as a little plush. I just really like him and Semipour. It just works perfectly for me, in my opinion. They're beautiful plushies, and I do think you should get it. Honestly, out of the bunch of Panpour plushies, this is probably the better one. I say bunch of Panpour plushies, the 3. I think he has a 3rd. I think he does have one on Pokemon Center besides Sitting Cutie. So I think out of the bunch, this might be the better one for you. Definitely the cheaper one, I'd assume. And then next up, everybody's least favorite rodent. Sorry, little guy, we have ourselves a Pat Rat. I do like Pat Rat as a plush, as a Pokemon. He's a good HM user. He knows how to use cut. That's a pretty good thing, I think, especially whenever you kind of needed it to get into the dream yard. It worked out pretty well. Not really much after that was needed, but I do think it worked still. But I do think this Patrat plush honestly works pretty well. It's a simple Pokemon, so the fact they did a simple plushie, it looks great in my opinion. I think it's okay. It's a little rounder, which obviously, if you heard my video about the other Pokemon, I do really like my round Pokemon plushies, so I think it works pretty well. And besides that, he's just a very simple little guy, and in my opinion, it works. It works for me. It's a very simple Pokemon, very simple plush. That's all you really need, and I think it works great. Next up, we have Lillipup, and the one thing that I'm like, about this Lillipup plushie is the face looks like it's put on there right after, and it's not really attached to the other part of the body, so it kind of makes it look very scary. It looks like it kind of has a skin mask right on top of the plushie. If you're okay with that, then I do think this is a pretty good plushie. I do think the plush, the rest of it with the dog body, is perfectly fine. It's a cute little Lillipup plushie. However, it's just kind of hard for me to get over just how scary he kind of looks with that face on. Ugh, man, it's not a good sight for him. But I do think it looks pretty well. Such a cute little guy. Same thing with Patrat. Their colorations work pretty well with each other. So the fact that we were able to get two Pokemon, sadly with the same coloration, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of over it with the brownish / tannish. So it's pretty cute plushies. However, just a very simple. I do think it's more unique than maybe one or set two. But also, with that being said, it's also not a very unique Pokemon plush set, considering two of them out of what, five are already plushies. So it's kind of hard to really rank their uniqueness above maybe a C. But I do think Lillipup turned out pretty well for what it is. And like I said earlier, I think a few episodes ago, it's a pretty cheap plushie whenever you get. I believe it's under $10 to get back whenever they first came out. So I think if you're okay with that, it works amazing and you could do pretty good things with that. I know that the ones that I got were pretty cheap. I don't know about y'all. Especially right now, you could probably find these guys for pretty cheap. Under like $5 maybe if you're lucky. $10 for the norm. But yeah, pretty good plushie. And next up, the rarest Pokemon plush, I think, from this whole entire set, and that is the Jakks Pacifc Victini. And wow, Jakks Pacifc Victini. Oh man, there is a lot of things I could say. First off, I'm gonna say not as good as the 25th anniversary plushies or the 20th anniversary plushies. I believe they did it, where they did all of the mythical Pokemon. I think that Victini is probably the best one. The coloration, the fabric, it just works perfectly for Victini. However, that being said, this is not a bad plushie at all. I think the only reason I would really want it and do really want it is because it is Jakks Pacific. If it wasn't, I'd be okay without getting it. I'll be honest. Like Sitting Cuties one, I don't need. But when it comes to this little guy, he is absolutely adorable. Still, even if he's a top tier plushie, the V is kind of slacking on my opinion. He's not got that very like nice crisp V. It looks kind of saggy, but I do think that is okay. We'll make it work. I do think he has very good coloration, but like I said, the fabric that they use for the Jakks Pacific plushies aren't as well quality as the 20th anniversary ones, so I do think he kind of lacks in the coloration just because of that. However, for what the plushie was in the time, where it was like a less than $10 one, it still works out. Especially with this being the last set, it does still work pretty well. I could imagine the set being harder to find just because of the fact that it was the last set released. I'm sure X and Y had already been announced and was right around the corner, so they were just kind of finishing the setup. I don't even remember Jakks Pacific having a line after this. I might be wrong. I might want to do some research on that in the future, but I believe Black and White was like the last Jakks Pacific set they ever did. Because I believe right after that came out in X and Y, at the X of my release date, actually, they had Tomy things, so I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So we went from Jakks Pacifc for Black and White to Tomy for Generation 6, which honestly, they're both positives. Maybe in the future I'll like take a look at some other Tomy plushies. But for now, Jakks Pacifc ended with this set, and I do think it ended. Let's call it a C/B. I don't know though. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Alright, and I think that covers it for set 4. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button, subscribe. I would love to see what your favorite is, of course, of this. I'm thinking I'm going to put all these episodes together into just one big episode either next week or the week after. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate this. It's been fun covering every series. I know I was supposed to do it a few months ago, but man, did I kind of drop the ball with that. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here, but thank y'all, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.